Hello and welcome aboard November 4279. Today I'm going to show you how I built this flight simulator behind me. I'm going to do a little tour of it and show you the major parts. So let's go. So this is my DIY Cessna 172 flight simulator. Everything is homemade by me, so I'm going to show you how I did it. Starting with the floor platform that the whole thing sits on, it's just some 2x6s in this upright position with a plywood sheet on top. And this carpet is from Home Depot. And it's just stapled to the entire thing. You can see the carpet all the way through. The seats are sitting on some crates that I just put some cardboard around and painted black so it doesn't look as much like a crate. And they're actually boat seats sitting on these crates, which gives you the perfect height for viewing the actual panel. On the back of this seat, you can see that I have a butt kicker Gamer 2. This is how I can feel the plane as I'm flying it. And normally a butt kicker like this would mount to a chair on the center hydraulic pull. But since this crate doesn't have that, I made my own with just a stick, and I bolted it into the actual crate, and the butt kicker just clips onto it there. An issue I found with this butt kicker is that it gets pretty hot over time because of the vibration. So after about a half an hour, especially flying a general aviation plane like this that vibrates a lot, it'll get hot and shut off on its own until it cools off. It takes a long time to cool off. So I have this just regular computer fan that you'd find on a PC, and I have it mounted on top of it, and it blows cold air on the actual butt kicker at the end right there, and that has never overheated since. Moving up to the ceiling, I'll show you the top of it, what it looks like. It is just a big sheet of a bunch of cardboard attached together. There are two strips of wood that go across, one right there and one right here, and that actually supports it from caving in. The fan unit in the top is 4 computer fans, 2 on each side, with a knob in the center to control the speed that they're going. And I just made this unit around them with some cardboard and extra carpet that I had from the floor. The whole ceiling has carpet on it too, the same carpet I have here on the floor. You can see on the top how they pull some air, so there's a big square cut out in the ceiling, and they pull in the cool air from the room, because it does get pretty hot in here with 3 screens surrounding you. Moving to the walls, so most of the wall consists of this TV. There are 3 55-inch TVs making up this cockpit. There's one on the front and then 2 on each window. The actual wall is made out of insulation foam. So if I go around this, you can see it's just the purple insulation foam that you find at Home Depot or Lowe's or any other store like that. And the fabric is just, I ordered a tan bed sheet because it gave me a lot of fabric to work with, and I just covered the entire foam wall in that material. I added some pockets, so the checklist is in there, and there's some other stuff in that pocket. And on the other side, there's 2 more pockets. The door handle actually works. It's 3D printed, and I'll show you how it works. So this is what it looks like from the inside. If you go around, this is the door handle on the other side. It has this tab right here that prevents the door from opening unless you turn it. And now the tab is only on this side, allowing that seam to open. And it's connected to the inside. So when I open this door handle, you can press the door open, and that gives you an easy way to fold the seat down and just sitting on it and then rotating your legs underneath the door, and then closing it and closing the handle. The other wall is the exact same, another 55-inch TV with the wall and window frame both made out of the insulation foam. These air vents that you are seeing on the corners here are fake. In real life, they would take air from a little hole in the wing and blow air at you directly from outside. But obviously you can't do that because it's a simulator, and that's why I built this unit for the air. So these are I designed these and 3D printed these just for looks. Moving on to the main panel, I'll start here and go right across and describe everything there. The panel is made of cardboard with a layer of foam that's about 1 inch thick, and then some fake leather that goes on top of that. And the glare shield is made with the same foam, just covered in some leather. Center console down here is a cardboard strip in that box down there is 3D printed. Okay, sitting in the simulator and starting with the gauges, they're all run by Air Manager, which is an app that lets you drag and place and size gauges and other screens for flight simulators. So behind the panel is a 19-inch monitor, and I have holes cut out, and the actual holes are 3D printed. And the monitor is behind there. Position the steam gauges behind it to make it look like they're built into the panel. So we have all the major gauges like the RPM, airspeed, your attitude indicator, your altitude, vertical speed, the compass, which I'll describe more of this later, but the compass matches the compass on here. We have the turn coordinator, your fuel quantity, the fuel flow and EGT temperature, and your oil pressure and oil temperature. So those are the gauges I need to fly. Here, you can see them right here and right across here. Those would be the circuit breakers. They don't actually work because I don't see a need to have working circuit breakers in a flight simulator, so I did them just for looks. Those are 3D printed and just glued to the panel there. The yoke that I fly with is the Honeycomb Alpha yoke. It's a very nice and smooth feeling yoke. There is 90 degrees of roll and a pretty good pitch travel. And this is where all my main switches are. So the battery and alternator switch, both avionics, and then all of the lights, the exterior lights. So beacon, nav, taxi, land, and strobe. On the right side is the magnetos, where you insert the key to start the plane. The keys are up here on the glare shield. I can show you on the key ring. I have a Cessna keychain that I 3D printed. This desktop pilot, I don't actually have anything by Desktop Pilot in the simulator, but I got this when I went to the Flight Simulator Expo in Providence, Rhode Island. And then I have my SANtensions.ai badge. And that all makes up my keyring that you insert to the magneto there, and then you can start the plane by turning them. And moving on, here in the center is this old Android tablet that is running FS Radio Panel, which is an Android app that lets you connect to the flight simulator via their server app, and it will let you do multiple functions, but I use it for the radio. If you flip this switch, it'll come on. You can tune the frequencies, and I'm using this until I get or make a real radio panel. So you have your radio stack, and then you have your transponder with your squawk code. There's other panels on here too, such as like heading indicator. You have your attitude with the speed and altitude, another heading there. You have an autopilot. There's a map. You have your electrical systems. And if you're flying airliners, you have the flight computer. But I use it for just the radio. Directly underneath that is my throttle and mixture control. These are 3D printed shafts and knobs. Something I'm going to add very soon is the carb heat switch that goes right here to the left of the throttle. But for now, we have the throttle, we have the mixture control. To the right of that is something I recently added. It's just a toggle on and off switch, and that controls the fuel pump for engine start. And down from that is the center console and fuel selector switch. So I'm going to push these knobs in so you can see easier. I have my landing gear for when I fly the Cessna 182, because the version of the 182 that I fly has retractable landing gear. So when I do longer flights, I fly that because it's faster. You can't just push it up, you have to actually pull it up and then release. And same thing, it won't go down until you actually pull it out, which is really cool. Another thing I forgot to mention is all the switches that are custom, such as the gear, the fuel pump, and a couple other ones that I'm going to show you, are all wired to an Arduino board that is behind the panel that you can see right here. And that is connected to MobiFlight, which is an app that lets you connect that board to the flight simulator and program your custom switches and buttons and anything else that you want to add. To the right of that is what would be the backup microphone in real life. So if your headset stops working, you can use this to talk to the frequency that you're tuned onto. This would be a button, and you talk into it. It doesn't work, it's just for looks. And it has a little clip there that hooks in. And down here we have the fuel selector switch, with a light above it that isn't working right now, but that will actually light up the knob. So it's on right, but you can put it on both, left. And it's a 3-position switch, and your fuel valve that pushes in, and you pull it out. Those are both wired to the same Arduino and MobiFlight. Up from the center console, you can see underneath is the flap. This is by Captain Bob, along with the compass on top of the glare shield. This is Captain Bob's flap. It is also wired to the Arduino with MobiFlight. You have 3 positions, and when the battery is turned on, you can see this indicator move. So I'll flip the battery on, you'll see it move. You can see the needle going down 10 degrees, 20, and 30. And if I flip it back up, it goes all the way back up to 0. So that is underneath the panel there. We have the Copilot yoke, which is the Logitech ProFlight yoke. This is the first yoke that I got before I replaced it with the honeycomb. So I decided to use it in the Copilot side if somebody's flying with me. And it also works just like this. You can control it from both sides. On either side of the panel, I have these hooks that I 3D printed that hold the headphones for the Copilot and Pilot, and they just hook onto there when I'm not using them. Before I was hooking them on the yoke, but it's better. I like it better to have actual hooks for them. Moving up from the Logitech yoke is the Autopilot panel by Logitech. So when the battery and avionics are on, I have all these buttons here to tune the autopilot. You can select which one you're actually configuring here, and you have the knob to actually turn. There are a couple other functions that I don't use that are just happen to be on it, such as a trim wheel, the flap, and the auto throttle. But I only use it for like this main part of the autopilot. To the right of that is the ELT, which is for emergencies. If you crash, you can hit this switch here and it will contact emergency services. It is completely fake. It's just 3D printed. I don't see a need to have it working because it's a flight simulator. So everything about that, including the switch, is 3D printed. Underneath that is just a logo for the SSE Flyers, which is the flying group that I'm in, who is run by Cardboard Sim. He has a YouTube channel that is very similar to my simulator. I pretty much designed it based off of his. A lot of the inspiration from this came from him. So he runs this flying group, so I put that there. It's a very small switch, but on the right of the yoke down there you have this toggle switch which controls the underlighting, which lights up the pedals, which there's no pedals on that side yet, but it lights up these pedals and that down there. And if I flip it on and off, you can see the pedals go dark. I plan to add more switches next to those to control the glare shield lighting and the lighting that is underneath right here that runs along this. So those will go next to this switch here. And like I was just showing, I have my rudder pedals down here, which are the Thrustmaster rudder pedals. I 3D printed Cessna style rudder pedals for these, and they are screwed into the actual pedal to give more of a general aviation plane feel compared to what they were before, which is more like an airliner. And the last thing on the panel is this Whiskey Compass by Captain Bob. There is a stepper motor inside of there and an LED light, and it's also wired to the Arduino using MobiFlight. And it matches the compass on my panel here, and it will actually turn when the plane is turning. The last thing inside the cockpit is this iPad that I have little nav map running. It used to be on this screen, but now that I'm using it for radios, it is now here, and I put this on my lap. And that's the map to see where I'm going. I'm going to give you a 360 shot of what it looks like to sit inside the cockpit. So starting over at the wing, it really does look like there's a wing there. You go all the way around to the front where the propeller and cowling is. You can actually see the cowling over the nose. And over to the right side where you have the other wing. Finally, I'm going to give you a walk around of the entire simulator to show you what it looks like from the outside. On the floor, we have a mat that says 4279, which is my tail number that is also here. I'll back up a little bit to show you what it looks like inside my room. You can see my desk off to this side, and the simulator is right next to it because I have to have the wires running back and forth from the computer, which is down here, to the simulator. I'll give you an idea what it looks like to walk into the room. You have my desk here, and you have the simulator here. The actual dimensions of the simulator are about 6, it sticks out about 6 feet from the wall. It's about 4 feet wide and 5 feet tall. Coming onto the right side, you can see the outside of the simulator. It doesn't look that great, but I'm not really paying attention to that because you don't really see it when you're flying. So I don't have anything covering the actual insulation foam that I'm using for the walls. Here is one of the side TVs on a TV stand. There's another view of the ceiling up there. So it's basically just a box. But when you're inside it, it really does feel like you're sitting in a real Cessna 172. So there's a short tour of my DIY Cessna 172 flight simulator. If you have any questions about it, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you about those. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you in the next video where we're probably going to fly somewhere.